Story 1. I would like to fund an animal shelter or rescue. I envision a large piece of farmland where I can visit the animals every other day. Story 2. If money didn't matter, I would spend my time traveling the world, learning about different cultures, and helping others in any way I could. I would live a life full of experiences and connections. Story 3. Gardening, hobbies, and traveling are my interests. I would love to own a thrift store, vintage shop, or used bookstore with employees to assist. Story 4. Collecting dogs, hugging dogs, saving dogs. Essentially, I aim to help as many dogs as possible. In reality, I want to establish an animal sanctuary or farm sanctuary and invite troubled youth to help care for the animals. I believe the mutual healing aspect is beautiful. Story 5. I would have about 12 dogs and spend a lot of time with my parents. Whenever I was alone, I would probably just relax and sleep. Story 6. I would spend time with my children as much as possible, helping them pursue their interests and explore interesting places. Story 7. Looking after my wife and my baby girl, who is almost 5 now, is the best thing in the world for me. Of course, I also enjoy playing the guitar from time to time. Story 8. Isolating myself in an incredibly remote location and never interacting with another person face to face again. Story 9. I would probably still go to my job, but not as much. I would spend more time with my child and other people I like. I would pet more cats and try more interesting foods. Story 10. Traveling, volunteering, and exploring new hobbies would provide a sense of freedom. I don't want to work until I'm 65 and have less than 10 years to truly enjoy life, assuming I wouldn't be affected by an illness before I pass away. Story 11. Developing waste management and recycling-based mass production. Additionally, building an ecoculture city to improve the environment and enhance the quality of life for society that can be sustained for hundreds of years. Story 12. This may sound unusual to many, but I have always believed that if money were no object, I would own very little. I would live in hotels and travel wherever I desired next. If I needed a shirt, I would get one. If I were hungry, I would eat. Story 13. A small plot of land away from society, a couple of dogs, a fireplace, and the goal to be as self-reliant or community-reliant as possible. Story 14. Traveling with friends, visiting friends, writing short travel stories, and coordinating live music events. Exploring. Story 15. Being with my kids while also having a job where I can meet and talk to many people is important. I might work at the airport, a hotel, or a resort. I always love hearing people's stories. Story 16. It seems that taking anything to the level of a business can ruin the fun. I wouldn't take it too far. I went for a walk with my dog today, and it was enjoyable, so I plan to do more of that. Perhaps I could create my own off-leash resort, national park, or beach. Story 17. Working with seniors involves keeping them company during daily activities such as shopping, doctor appointments, and having tea and conversations. It focuses on companionship without providing medical services, as many seniors experience loneliness. Story 18. Travel and explore. Fully engage in any hobbies you find interesting. For once, be able to buy whatever item you need without always choosing the cheapest option. Story 19. Buying coffee beans from around the world and trading them to roasters and suppliers is my passion. Traveling to the coffee hubs. I visit the most beautiful places where coffee is grown. I feel sad now because it's 5:30 and I have to go to work in an office. Story 20. Making music and finally learning to draw. Of course, with my luck, everyone else doing the same would be much better than I am. Story 21. Travel, give great gifts to family, and engage in activities that help me relax while keeping my mind occupied. Essentially, live like I did after college. Story 22. Hobbies. I guess one of them is to keep adding to my list of hobbies every 3 years or so. Story 23. Mountain biking occurs on every mountain in the world, except in Marin County, where mountain biking is banned and where it was invented. Story 24. I have been thinking about this every day, transforming the world into a utopian society and enjoying really good food. Story 25. Baseball owner for one of the top teams in the National League. I have my preferred team, and it does not engage in signing excessively high contracts. Story 26. Collecting various valuable sports cards and giving them away to young kids who are just starting in the hobby is the main goal. The only condition is that they cannot sell the cards until they turn 18 years old. Story 27. Creative endeavors include art during my spare time and a bit of reading before bed. I would create a local community-based business to help pay others and establish stability, while also providing me with purpose. When my friends were short on $50 for their electricity bill, I would pay it. When they were sick and hadn't gotten food, I would order them food delivery. At least that's what I used to do when I had some money. Story 28. LGBTQIA plus mixed media company. At some point, there is a game and a couple of movies I would like to create. In addition, I want to help others achieve their dreams and distribute their products. Story 29. Helping the next generation with anything they need is important. Seriously, anyone younger than me will receive my support in any way I can offer. I would also like to assist the elderly. Story 30. Writing and directing films. The power of storytelling is an incredible force. We hear a story that communicates something powerful and thought-provoking, and we think we forget all about it after it is over, but it often sits in our minds, growing. This is one of the subtle ideas behind Nolan's Inception, the power of storytelling to quietly compel us to change. Hopefully, we are telling stories worth changing for, which is what I want to spend my life creating, regardless of whether money is a factor or not. Story 31. Traveling with family and developing my own Iron Man JRVIS while inviting family and friends. I work to help develop nonprofit organizations and contribute to my community in any way possible. I might even consider running for president to enact policies that subsidize housing for affordable living for millennials and Gen X, and to stabilize rent in certain areas. I seek to find alternative ways to generate energy for the United States instead of relying on subsidized electricity from gasoline. There are many things I would do. Story 32. Hopefully spread peace and love. I'm just not sure how to go about it or if people would be receptive, you know? Story 33. I am currently renovating neglected houses. I work at my own pace, create value, and strive to improve a little each day. I have traveled the world and dedicated 25 years to public service. Today, I refinished cabinets which look much better and took breaks for cookies and potato chips. Story 34. Rescuing and caring for strays and shelter animals. I want to provide them with the best quality of life possible. I have ample fenced property so they can run free and build a nice indoor space for them to ensure they never have to sleep outside again. We currently have 2 rescue dogs, which is all the space we can accommodate. I wish I could take them all. When we adopted our last dog from the Humane Society, walking past all those other dogs in kennels broke my heart. They all look at you with sad eyes, and it truly affects me. Story 35. Start a nonprofit that provides healthcare for women in rural areas of the United States. Many locations lack basic care for women. Another initiative could be a program that assists individuals in transitioning out of foster care to independent living. Story 36. I would 3D print and paint miniatures and learn how to cast jewelry. I will probably become very active in the cosplay community. Story 37. Traveling and visiting concerts around the world, with rest in between at a beautiful remote countryside house. Story 38. Real talk. My friend group and I have a pact. Whoever reaches triple-digit millions first will sponsor this game. We will rent an island and create a combat simulation with tanks and actors, similar to playing Warhammer 40,000 in the real world. Story 39. Open a physical therapy clinic offering free services for underserved populations and play golf on the weekends. Story 40. Having my own property with a 20-foot wall around it. Smoking cannabis on my front porch with my husband while watching my cats play, and cooking delicious food to go along with the snacks. Story 41. Painting, gardening, traveling, and donating time and money to literacy programs, libraries, Planned Parenthood, economics, and civics classes in public schools. Story 42. In the greenhouse, I am breeding soldier flies, ladybugs, and healthy worms while enjoying my greens and herbs. The plants are watered by collecting rainwater. Story 43. Lawrence, what would you do if you had $1 million? I tell you what I would do. I would have two women at the same time. Story 44. I would transform my property into a beautiful estate and grow an abundance of food to share with everyone. I would construct a large, elegant greenhouse to cultivate exotic plants, raise some animals, and enjoy each day watching my daughter grow up. Story 45. Wildlife rehabilitation for young animals. I would love to save and bottle feed little cubs, bears, deer, and more. That would be a life well spent for me. Story 46. I would move to a warm place, get a nice house with a pool, marry a kind-hearted partner, and finally write my novel. Story 47. Learning languages and reading books in those languages, along with exploring space through powerful telescopes. Story 48. I would build a large log cabin in northwestern Ontario. I would have a spacious, heated workshop and purchase all the equipment I desire. I would spend the rest of my days away from society. Story 49. The straightforward answer is sleeping all day and engaging in self-pleasure. But after that, the only productive hobby I have is watching movies. I can see myself getting really into films. I have been watching 1 to 2 new ones most nights for a while now. Story 50. Take the money. Funding is available for federal employees who are currently undergoing a reduction in force. There is also double funding for probationary employees who were wrongfully terminated. Story 51. Blacksmithing and welding, learning traditional trades like spinning, weaving, woodworking, and wildcrafting. Spending time with elderly individuals, helping them walk their dogs, preparing food for those in need, rescuing animals, traveling the world, and enjoying various tropical fruits. Story 52. I would love to pick up a new hobby every couple of months and focus on it. Then I would dedicate more time to whatever ends up being my favorite. Traveling is also something I enjoy, as many others have mentioned. Story 53. Traveling, cooking, baking, gardening, and reading. But mostly, not stressing about money or wondering where grocery or mortgage funds will come from. Just live. Story 54. Is this a you have unlimited money and can buy whatever you want type of situation? Or is this a money just ceases to have value type of answer? Because those are two drastically different responses. Story 55. Building low-income housing, donating to scientific research, creating a scholarship program for at-risk youth, and supporting political campaigns that would benefit our country and maintain a positive geopolitical course are all important. I welcome all comments on this topic, as I consider myself a centrist and do not align with either major political party. Additionally, I value taking care of my family and investing time in hobbies and studying various subjects, including philosophy. In general, my answer is philanthropy. Story 56. Multiple research facilities are focused on space, biology, macroeconomics, communication, fusion, longevity, food, energy, genetics, education, and humanity's vision for the future. On a 290-foot fedship with lifelong friends, we visit interesting ports of call. There is access to quantum computing via satellite and military-grade communication. Story 57. I'm ready to live a simple homestead life with a small farm. I tended to my mother's farm for a week while house-sitting, and it felt like being in a Thoreau novel, living deliberately and all that. I love the city, but I'm not very social in real life. At this point in my life, I would feel more at peace living that way. Story 58. I would be a book critic. I love reading poorly written books and online content. It's enjoyable when they are well written, but it can also be entertaining when they are not, preferably in podcast format. Story 59. Making things for fun. I have always enjoyed activities like carpentry, 3D printing, and computer numerical control. If I had the budget and space, I would definitely like to add metalwork and glasswork to my repertoire. Story 60. Learning new skills. Currently studying a language, taking piano lessons, exploring music theory, and practicing modular synthesis. Story 61. Fly air ambulance or search and rescue. Start a company doing that at no charge to anyone. Do something worthwhile in this life. Story 62. Building cybernetics and advancing the fields of cybernetics, electrochemistry, and materials science. Every person missing a limb could visit a shop and purchase a prosthetic with greater functionality than a standard one, rather than a low-quality prosthetic that detaches at night. Story 63. Being a philanthropist. I want to help others, and I wish I had unlimited funds to do so. I want to do things like walking to a grocery store and telling the store manager that I will pay for everyone's groceries for the next hour. I would go to a gas station and give random people $1,000 to pay for their gas. I would go to a Walmart and pick one person at random, telling them they have 20 minutes to grab whatever they need, and I would pay for it. I would find homeless individuals and arrange for a hotel room for the night so they can have a proper sleep, a warm shower, and hot meals. I would provide them with whatever they need to help them get back on their feet or at least support them while they are on the street. I would play fun games on the street with random people. One idea in my head consists of several games where the more games you win in a row, the more money you receive. The trick would be that you have to give up your previous prize to play the next game. The games could include high-low card, dice rolls, cup games, rock, paper, scissors, and other fun activities. I would visit schools and fund upgrades for any equipment they need. If there's new technology they desperately require, I would help them obtain it. There's a woman who has been helping me, and while I won't go into the details of our relationship, she definitely deserves support. I would give her a substantial check to help her and her family, possibly enabling her to quit her job and pursue her own happiness. Story 64. Making money does not matter. Create a startup and everyone gets paid $500,000. I mean, money doesn't matter, right? Sell a product for $100 when it costs $1,000 to make. Yeah, let's bankrupt the corporation. Story 65. My wife and I want to open a mosque and have weekly or daily food drives and a kitchen for the poor and homeless. During the winter, we would help them with warm food, clothes, and temporary shelter from the weather. Story 66. Opening conversation centers for animals and creating homes for the elderly who have been abandoned by their families. Improving facilities for individuals suffering from terminal illnesses and allocating resources to accelerate breakthroughs in cancer prevention and treatment. Establishing facilities for people with disabilities to integrate them into mainstream society and provide opportunities for them. Story 67. Raising funds for Seattle Children's Hospital and other organizations directly benefiting children in need. Story 68. Hidden away from the world in a dwarf-themed bunker. I write novels, play games with my friends, share humorous posts, and anonymously support individuals by enhancing their lives worldwide. Story 69. Traveling around the world in a calm and relaxed manner on a yacht, with a private chef available and ample room for family visits. Story 70. Making movies. I have many stories in my head that don't really work as books. I don't want the money or the fame. I just want people to see my stories. Story 71. I would start a charity, travel, and do many creative things such as funding community centers, clinics, and paying for student lunches. Story 72. Traveling the planet offers many beautiful places to see. I'm sure most countries have something interesting to offer that could provide a memorable experience. There are hidden gems and tourist highlights. I would spend the rest of my life planning trips and figuring out what to see and do. If money doesn't matter, I wouldn't have to work and could stay for 2 to 5 weeks. Story 73. I know this may sound unusual, but I experienced living homeless for 5 years, and it was surprisingly liberating. I had total and unrestricted freedom, allowing me to do anything I wanted at any time. I'm sure the experience would be different without drugs and alcohol. I have been clean and sober for 2 years now, and there are many days I find myself daydreaming about that lifestyle, especially when I'm at work. The lack of obligations was appealing, no bills and no responsibilities. However, there were significant downsides as well. While many moments were enjoyable, there were also numerous days that were quite difficult. Story 74. I want to open shelters in various locations to help women escaping domestic violence situations. I have seen too many loved ones remain in dangerous situations because they had nowhere to go. These shelters would be small private villas on a homestead-style property with gardens and communal living spaces, where women and their children can live safely and rebuild their lives. There could also be pathways and training available for those who want to develop new skills. Additionally, I would like to fund the creation of more community spaces that are free of charge. Story 75. Spending time with my family and friends, writing, reading, woodworking, playing music, enjoying video games, and watching movies bring me joy. I really love teaching and would like to continue doing that if possible, especially if financial concerns were not an issue. I would prefer to teach a few classes each semester instead of struggling in the spring and overloading in the fall to make up for the spring's challenges. I would also like to study astronomy more. Life would be so much better without the need for money. Story 76. I would still be in cancer research. I love the science, but it would be nice to not be permanently worried about funding. Story 77. I would possibly flip houses if money weren't a problem for my home life. When I had little money but enough to keep things together at home, I was happy and free of anxiety. It was good to be there when my wife came home from her job as a baker, along with her relatives, but then everything changed and it all slipped away. Story 78. Having the time to focus on my mental health and live a happy, fulfilling life with my son on a sandy beach. Story 79. I would like to have a large botanical center with a wide variety of plants, trees, and flowers. This would support many bees, which would, in turn, benefit my meadery. Story 80. Creating a high-quality AAA video game for everyone to enjoy is essential. Possible idea is to remake Half-Life and offer the game as free-to-play. Additionally, everyone could receive top-of-the-line computers equipped with the latest graphics cards. Story 81. Buy an electric car company, claim I invented it, acquire a declining social network and turn it into a right-wing platform, collaborate with a despotic leader to do my bidding, and dismiss several individuals. Story 82. Relaxing and enjoying time with loved ones while sharing moments with those I care about is important to me. I also aim to find fulfilling projects aligned with my interests that benefit society. Additionally, I would love to own a small coffee shop filled with books I cherish, allowing me to share my passion with the world. Story 83. I want to realize my thrift centralization project. Many items are not sold as used due to the additional services a company can provide compared to an individual seller. I aim to destigmatize buying used products to promote sustainability. You don't enter a thrift store with expectations, but you expect the grocery store to have all the products on your shopping list. Imagine being able to have expectations from the secondary merchandise market. As a result of this challenging situation, hundreds, even thousands, of thrift stores across Europe are abandoned and filled to the brim with merchandise. Imagine streamlining the process of letting go of items you no longer need without throwing them away. The clothing industry, including brands like Temu, Shine, and Nike, is unsustainable and cannot continue indefinitely. There will eventually be an ecosystem to address this. I would love to make it happen. Story 84. Day trading, gambling, drinking, and adult entertainment. I'm an aspiring risk-taker. Instead, I have a stable career and a mortgage. Story 85. Sit around with friends, drink beer, spend time on my hobbies, and try to write my own science fiction book. Story 86. I want to play sports, master one, then move on to another. I will train hard, eat well, sleep well, and do all this in different countries year after year. Story 87. Not working, that's for sure. I am working out, taking cooking classes to make delicious food, and studying subjects I am interested in. Story 88. Spending time with my friends, traveling with my family, hiring someone for yard work, and enjoying weekly couples massages. Story 89. I would build a combination garage and recording studio. I would work on classic cars and record albums. Story 90. I would select random locations that seem interesting and visit them, such as a small town in Switzerland or a cozy cottage in China. Story 91. Riding bikes, skiing, relaxing in the sun, creating art, and eating well sum it up. Story 92. I read, listen to music, and care for several cats and plants as I live in my little house peacefully. Story 93. Making music and being creative are important to me, but I haven't done much recently, which has been discouraging. I am preparing for a significant life change and plan to concentrate fully on my artistic pursuits. Wish me luck. However, in my current situation, finances are a significant concern. Story 94. Traveling, creating, learning new skills, and spending time with loved ones while fully enjoying life without stress or obligations. Story 95. I know it's a common cliché, but reducing fraud and waste in the federal government is essential. What else would you do? Story 96. I am a frustrated college dropout, and I wish someone would pay me to study anything I want. Story 97. Farming with a focus on grains and heirloom fruits, followed by malting the grains and brewing beer, cider, fruit wines, and making fruit preserves. I would likely have a setup similar to the one Dan Barber has. Story 98. Writing books, building a massive private library, and playing video games while enjoying drinks until my heart gives out. I really don't have anything else to live for but that. Perhaps exploring the Japanese countryside, using it as inspiration for the worlds in my books. Story 99. I would like to buy a nice piece of untouched land and preserve it, except for a few trails. Then I would enjoy riding my bike around while relaxing. Story 100. Not being married, enjoying drinks, riding my motorcycle, and listening to loud rock music at the animal shelter. Story 101. I would perform random acts of kindness, spend time with dogs, take people sailing, relax in hammocks, and play recreational sports. Story 102. Fixing problems. Blocked storm drain? Cleared. Pothole? Fixed. Park jungle gym broken? Repaired. Elderly neighbor needs grass mowed? Done. Story 103. Something outdoors. A park ranger, like mentioned in the other comment. Selling piña coladas on the beach in Cancun or managing a small beach bar in the Caribbean. Story 104. Traveling, visiting my adult children, collecting interesting items, having someone else maintain my house and keep my refrigerator well stocked. I would also take painting lessons and likely engage in other activities as well. Story 105. I would love to spend at least a year in the destination of my choice. The regular tour schedule doesn't work for me because I want to soak in the vibes of the place at a leisurely pace. I want to take walks or cycle through the countryside, go for hikes and camp. I want to interact with the various cultures and communities in the country, work part-time, talk, and make friends with people, inviting them over for lunch or dinner. I wish to explore different regions of the country and live like a local. Story 106. Sitting on a beach with my wife, enjoying sushi, reading books, and having drinks. This is my ideal life every single day until I die. Story 107. I would become a blacksmith. I think it would be really cool to build swords and other items, not just to use but to try and make them as visually appealing as possible. Story 108. Hunting, spearfishing, and climbing in different parts of the world provide unique experiences. Most of the meat from hunts can be given to local tribes and communities. Story 109. Having a village of my own with all my friends, where we would garden, hang out, do yoga, play sports, have bonfires, and enjoy dinner together. All our kids would grow up together. I guess I would be a villager. Story 110. I could move back near my family. I moved 400 miles for a good-paying job. I would buy my own home and then travel. Story 111. I would like to spend my time defeating my enemies, seeing them driven before me, and hearing the lamentations of their women, or perhaps just sleeping in during winter. Story 112. Saving forests is important to me, as it will help protect animals as well. I appreciate nature and wish I could be wealthy enough to purchase hundreds of thousands of acres of forest to preserve it in its natural state for as long as possible. People can use the land for activities like camping, but deforestation, poaching, or any form of development should be prohibited. Only natural use is allowed. If anyone wants to live off the grid and survive off the land, they should feel free to do so. That is the true essence of nature. Story 113. I would be a collector of old but important historical items. I would create my own museum with free entry to share history, offering goodie bags for children. I would occasionally work as a tour guide and provide feedback to the owner. I would also operate assisted living facilities for the elderly and one for children with autism. With funding not being an issue, these facilities would be far better than those currently available. I would provide free accommodation for nurses, paramedics, police officers, and firefighters, as they are severely underpaid for the work they do in my community. Story 114. Helping people with food, shelter, medical issues, and education for children. I assist individuals in whatever way I can. I enjoy traveling, reading, sleeping, working out, and spending time with friends, family, and myself. I strive to live in a peaceful environment. Story 115. Have a wonderful home for family visits, complete with a boat, fishing, a pool, and tennis facilities. There is also an animal rescue center. Travel to archaeological sites to assist with digs. Story 116. Nothing special, really, just live. After a few months or years, I'm sure a natural purpose will appear. I don't think it means I won't work anymore, but rather it's about what it takes. Story 117. Open a community-focused skate shop in my hometown without worrying about losing money, while focusing on being a safe space for struggling young people. Help them get support and collaborate with local councils to fund projects for skate parks and playgrounds across the country. Story 118. Around the world, with a glass of dry white wine, skinny dipping one city, lake, ocean, or hot tub at a time. Buffalo chicken wings would be enjoyable once in a while too. Story 119. Travel, enjoy cultured food, and relax. I just want to survive to see the endings of One Piece and Hunter x Hunter, as well as future anime. Story 120. Playing music is not a valid career choice unless you are exceptionally talented or skilled in marketing, or reasonably talented and highly skilled in marketing. Story 121. Maybe spend 1 or 2 months in each country, and then once that is fulfilled, I will make time for artistic endeavors and other small projects I have in mind. Story 122. Snowboarding and surfing around the world. I could be doing that instead of stopping to save for a house and retirement. Story 123. I am a car enthusiast. I would tour the country and visit every racetrack possible. I would buy a recreational vehicle and race at every track. I would love to travel the world, but it is challenging with children and grandchildren. I prefer not to be more than a few hours away by flight. Story 124. Working can be enjoyable if you like your career. If not, consider finding a hobby. There will always be something that interests you. If you find yourself uninterested in anything, it may be a sign to seek help for depression. Story 125. Fixing computers and providing IT support is what I already do, and I would continue to do it even if money were not an issue. Story 126. Living my life in a small cabin in the woods, painting by the riverbanks, planting, and hunting for food. I am embracing a simple life in nature. Story 127. Living in a house next to the beach with an open kitchen allows me to experiment with new cuisine. I learn something new every day and enjoy the freshest fish available. If there's room for more, I would want to build either an animal sanctuary or a safe place for children to learn things that are not taught in school, such as optimal nutrition, self-sufficiency, and sustainable cooking. Story 128. Honestly, I would take one for the team and become a leader to actually make a difference. The only reason many nations are struggling now is due to greed. If money didn't matter, I cannot be bought. It's not something I aspire to do, but someone needs to take the seat who isn't purposely trying to drive the world to ruin because they know where they are heading when they die. Story 129. Exploring every church, temple, synagogue, and mosque in my city on foot, while listening to audio of sacred scriptures from around the world. Story 130. I would be flying and soaring in the skies, enjoying life the way I want to live it. I am currently working on my pilot's license. Story 131. As a musician, I aim to learn as much as I can and fully engage in the hobby I am passionate about. Story 132. Just staying at various relaxing destinations around the world. The days spent by a pool reading and the nights enjoying a bit of drinks and great food at any restaurant I wanted. Obviously, there is plenty of time to go to the gym or exercise to maintain my health. Some magical thought. The time we actually get to unwind and enjoy life is rare. Story 133. Mainly, I want to watch my daughter grow up and not miss any important milestones in her life. I would also love to own a food truck because I enjoy feeding people. Story 134. Shooting photographs, making and collecting music, reading books, playing retro games, tinkering with instruments and other pre-smartphone era technology, drawing and painting, making delicious coffee, and cooking nice meals. Story 135. I would have multiple homes in beautiful locations. A chalet for skiing and a sauna and spa retreat. A lake house for enjoying beautiful autumns, wild swimming, evening fire pit gatherings, and smoking meat. A beachfront cottage for surfing, watching sunsets, relaxing, and playing guitar. The list goes on. I would spend my time between these places and attending football matches, Wimbledon, motorsport events, festivals, and VIP concerts around the world. Story 136. I am really enjoying cybersecurity and infrastructure. I have an idea for a program that will take a while to develop. Therefore, I would devote my time to developing this code. Considering the long-term fine-tuning and expansions, this could become a lifelong project. Story 137. Restoring ecosystem function to private properties by changing their landscaping, known as ecological landscaping or habitat gardening, on various properties. Story 138. Create durable products that everyday people can use, reducing the need to continuously purchase disposable items. Story 139. I will probably keep doing what I'm doing. I am a painter, and I love my job. The only thing that could make it better is if I were painting the beautiful old Garden District homes in New Orleans. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.